Stick with the timing. Stick with the timing so that we can complete at exactly at what is the time? 11:45. 11:40 you can say, because already 15 minutes over. Then we'll start the next session on time. Just another 1 minute. We'll start. I'll share a Google form for the attendance. So kindly fill that one, okay, during the session. I think Devalina, we should start. The time 10:15, so we can start. So let others join. You just start. Let me make you the co-host. Just a minute. Yeah. Now you can share the screen.
Sir, is the entire PPT
Yes.
visible?
Yes, visible.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, you can start. All the best. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Sir, is it okay if I turn off my video? Because it may interfere with
Yes.
the connection.
Yes. No problem. No issue.
Oh.
No issue.
Oh. Sir, I hope my screen is visible. Oh, okay. So hello everyone, my name is Debolina, and thank you, sir, for giving such a good introduction about me. I would like to thank all the participants for registering for Applied Python 1. And so today you can consider it as a big day because it is your first step into learning a new programming language. And Python, as we all know, it is such a popular programming language in current times. I also extend my gratitude to School of Computer Applications, KIT University, for giving me this opportunity. So I think that all of you by now might know me because we have already been introduced. And I also got a good amount of responses yesterday on the form that we shared with you all. And now I am aware of all your learning goals, what your expectations are from this workshop. And I'm really excited to begin this learning journey with you. So let's begin this session 1. This workshop is organized into 9 sessions in total, and we have 3 days where we have 3 sessions per day. So in the morning session, we are going to discuss the conceptual part in Python. And in the evening session, whatever small programs that we will execute during the morning session, if you have any doubt in all of those programs, then you can attend the evening session and you can clarify all your doubts. Further, I will advise that in today's evening session, all of you please attend, because in case we are not able to cover any topic in any of the sessions, we will make it up in the evening session. So for today, it is not really optional, so kindly attend the evening session. Okay. Let's get started. So in today's session, we are going to get an introduction into programming. And if you are already familiar with programming, this is going to help you and just brush up some of those concepts that you might have learned during your graduation or in your school. Then we move on to Python. And why has Python become so popular that we select it as our choice of programming language? So we can cover those points. After that, um, for all the program execution and implementation in this workshop, we are going to use Google Colab. So I'll also help you to understand what is Google Colab environment and how you are going to use it. After that, we will come to the basic syntax of Python program. And finally, we are going to write a first Python program. And it is going to be like uh, really simple because one thing that you should know in advance that Python has a very English-like syntax. So it's mostly like giving instructions to the computer. It's like telling the computer what you want it to do. If you have already worked with other programming languages like C, C++, or Java, you'll find that the syntax of Python is a lot simpler as compared to the other programming languages. Also, this is one of the reasons why for beginner programming classes nowadays, Python is being widely used. Okay. So let's get started, and we will first understand what exactly is a computer program. So a computer program, you can think of it as a recipe or something which gives you a list of step-by-step instructions telling the computer how to complete a particular task. So if you want to compute the sum of two numbers, you are telling everything to the computer from scratch using a computer program. So you are even telling the computer, look, this is the first number, num1, which I am defining as, like, suppose 10. We have a second number, num2, we are defining it as 20. Then we are performing the addition, sum is equal to num1 plus num2. So we are telling the computer what we exactly want to do. So this set of instructions that we are giving to the computer, this is called as a computer program. Okay, so now if you have already encountered Python before, you may have also heard the word of that script. So what is exactly a script? So in Python, we use the terms program and script interchangeably. However, a script is a program which is very short and simple, and it can be written very quickly. And most importantly, your scripts, we do not compile them. Rather than that, we usually interpret the scripts. I'm also going to help you understand or revise the concepts of compilation and interpretation and how these two are different from each other. So just so you know, when we are writing a computer program, we essentially mean that we want to compile that program. And when we are writing a script, we essentially mean that we want to use the interpreter to execute that script. Since it is a very short program, so we don't need to go through the steps of compilation altogether. Moving on, what is a programming language? So this is something that we, as a CS student or any student who works with programs, this is something that you encounter in day-to-day life. You see a lot of scripts in your applications, and you encounter different kinds of programming languages while working. So just like we humans, we use language as a medium of communication. So right now I am talking to you, I am communicating in English language. Similarly, there are languages which have been designed in such a way that we can communicate with the machine. So a programming language helps the programmers to communicate with the computer. And just like we have any ordinary human spoken language, just like in English, we have several grammar rules are there. We also have certain way in which we say that now my sentence makes some sense. So that part is also present in your programming language. So even in every human language, as well as in programming language, we have something called as syntax and semantics. So our syntax tells us the rules and regulations for writing any statement in your programming language. So here in Python, we also have some particular syntax, some rules and regulations, which we are going to learn shortly. And semantics, it means it usually refers to the meaning which is associated with the statement in a programming language. So suppose I am following all the punctuation rules. I am writing, I go to school. So okay, that makes some sense, but I too go school. So even if the punctuation and everything is okay, but it does not make any sense. So that's where semantics are violated. It is not semantically correct. Even if something can be syntactically correct, if your logic or if there is the meaning is not being conveyed properly, then you may have to you may have to go through your logic and uh, adhere to the syntactic and semantic rules of a programming language. Okay. So next we come to the difference between compiled and interpreted languages. So most of you must have experience, have some work experience or have attended classes related to C, C++. If you are from a CS background, you must be familiar with all of that. So in C, C++, it was essentially a compiled language. We used to take the C or C++, the source code, and it used to get converted into a machine dependent code. Okay, then that was directly executed to get the final output. So compiled languages are such that we convert it directly into machine code, and from there the processor executes it. So we say that these tend to be faster and they are more efficient than interpreted languages. Which is one of the reasons why you may have heard that all competitive coders, they always advocate the usage of C or C++. They always say that if you want to excel in competitive programming, then C or C++, it works really well on all those platforms. So this is one of the reasons, because uh, it is faster. And yeah, I heard some echo. Is my audio okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Okay, so it tends to be faster. And in interpreted languages, the execution takes place line by line. So we are executing each and every command one step at a time. So this is these languages are flexible in the sense that what happens when we are executing a script with, through an interpreter, if there is any error in a line, so that error is pointed out by your interpreter. You resolve that error, then move on to the next part. In compilation, all the errors come up at the same time and you have to debug your entire code. So that's where it gives interpreter give certain advantage. That's my personal opinion. Interpreters give certain advantage in debugging. And it also offers certain features like dynamic typing, and gives also has we have smaller program size. So like we said that Python scripts are small programs. So some of the interpreted languages widely known are PHP and JavaScript. So let's see, how do we execute a program in Python? So first we have a source code, which is demo.py. Then there is an underlying compiler present in Python. So widely known is that Python is essentially an interpreted language. However, behind the scenes, there is also a compiler that works to convert the source code into bytecode, which is demo.pyc. So note the extension .py is your source code and .pyc is your bytecode. So this task that the compiler does, it is hidden from the user. The user does not, the programmer does not get to know that any compilation is happening. Only the interpreter part is visible to the programmer. So this bytecode is converted into machine code. And as you know that all our computers, they work in zeros and ones, so they understand only the language of binaries, which is why we need to convert a source code into machine code to for proper machine execution, and then we get the final outputs after the machine code is run on our system. So this is the way a program is executed in Python. So when we say that a programming language is compiled or interpreted, we actually mean to say that what is the popular method of implementation used for this programming language. So like we just saw, Python has a compiler as well as an interpreter. But most popularly, Python scripts are being used. So the interpretation part of Python is more popular. That implementation is being used a lot more in industry, which is one of the reasons why we also say Python as a scripting language. And one more thing that you may need to note is that with a lot of advanced coding practices and lots of modern hardware that we have, some such as just-in-time compiler, JIT compilers are there. It has helped to reduce this gap between compilation and interpretation time. So earlier interpretation used to was slower than compiler, but nowadays both of them are nearly taking the same time, which is why it's not any issue. You can easily use your Python scripts to execute your code. Okay, so before we dive into the history of Python, I would like to ask if there are any questions till now, whatever we discussed. That was your basics, basic concepts, the fundamentals of CS, how a program is run, what is a compiler, what is an interpreter. So if anyone has any questions in that part, please feel free to type in the chat box.
Okay, you can continue.
Okay, sir. So next, we are going to see the history of Python, and as much boring as it may sound, but it's really a good thing that you should know when and where the programming language actually started from. So the first version of Python was released by Guido van Rossum in 1991. So Python is not at all so new. It may be modern. It is being used and adapted in the IT industry a lot more right now, but it came into being in 1990s only. And in 2000, Python 2 was released. In 2008, Python 3 was released. And currently, in June 2022, we have Python 3.10.5. So this is your latest version of Python. So if you go to the link mentioned down below, python.org, you can see that this version of Python is available for you to download on your local system. So Python has been considered as a beginner's language, and earlier it was used for teaching concepts like writing small scripts, and we are going to write a lot of small scripts in this workshop. But in recent years, the adoption of Python in the industry has grown tremendously. And you have various tools in Python, such as you can do a lot of things using Python, the computational abilities available in Python. A lot of complex mathematical computations, like also even in web development, like running your website, for to process images, then for web services, and a lot of other tasks can be done in using Python. So um, that makes it one of the widely used programming language of current times. And some of the features of Python, which I would like to outline over here. Python is open source. So open source means that it has an active community development takes place. It is also free to use, and you can always download Python. You can even contribute to Python. You can code your own libraries, and you can launch them within the community. And that is how you can even support the development of this programming language. Another thing is that Python has a very simple syntax. We say that it has similar to an English language like syntax, which we are going to see shortly. Being dynamically typed means that in just like in C or C++, you used to mention what is the data type when you had to declare any variable. So if for the people who already have some prior programming experience, you may have seen in C or C++, we write int a is equal to 5. So we are mentioning this a is a variable of type int. But Python being dynamically typed, it has the ability to find out the type of your data during the execution itself using the Python interpreter. So you don't need to mention what is the data type of any variable. You can simply write in Python a is equal to 5. And during the execution, it will automatically find out that, okay, this variable a is of type int. So this is what it means by being dynamically typed. Python is interpreted. We already discussed that before. And Python is portable in the sense that we can use it across all platforms. You can have Python in Windows, in Linux operating systems, in Mac OS. So it works across all platforms. Then lots of powerful libraries, and these libraries are also one of the contribution of major companies such as Google. Google has launched its own library called TensorFlow, which is so helpful and to develop machine learning applications. And we have the object-oriented paradigm that is being supported by Python. And it also supports functional and procedural programming, which is the primitive style of programming. There are two types of programming that we have: procedural, in which we just have a set of statements, one line at a time. When functional is there, and also the object-oriented part we are going to discuss in another session. So I'm leaving these two right now. I will provide more clarification on what do you mean by these different kinds of programming styles. Okay, so what makes you choose Python? So that is one of the questions, and you should be ready to answer it if anyone asks you that why have you chosen Python as your programming language. So programming in Python is simple, we know, and it is easy to understand, as its syntax is similar to English language. And one more thing is that Python is fast in execution. In practice, we see that, and with JIT compilers, it is as fast as any compiled language. And there are lots of optimization steps as well, some optimization styles that we adopt in Python programming, which helps us to write more optimal code. And this is and the interpreter system is there, which means that we can execute the code as soon as it is written. And as I said earlier, it also makes debugging a lot easier. Another thing is that we have a large community support in Python, and this support has led to excellent libraries and frameworks which are ready to use for many applications. So you also have image processing libraries, you have libraries that are meant to for cybersecurity applications. We have libraries for data science, for data analysis, for computer vision as well. And deep learning, artificial intelligence is something that has got a boom just because Python is there. And now with the help of Python, we can make such good applications using its diverse libraries. Python has become very popular in data science and machine learning communities, and a lot of scientific computations have become very easy in Python. And Python is extremely popular in the workplace right now. And if you are currently working in IT, or if you are planning a career in IT, a knowledge of Python will significantly help you in the long run. And some of the applications of Python include like creating web applications, and then you can even connect to databases. So some of the industry-based applications like handling big data, or to perform complex mathematics, or even for rapid prototyping in software development industry. So all of that is being supported by Python. Okay, so next we look at the Zen of Python. So this is pretty interesting. It contains 19 guiding principles for writing computer programs that influence the design of the Python programming language. So when they have written that beautiful is better than ugly, the first statement, it essentially means that when we have a code which is neatly maintained, and one of the most important things in Python is that the indentation is used instead of in earlier programming languages we had curly braces. In Python we have indentation, so that renders your code in a very good looking manner, and your code is completely decluttered. It's very neatly arranged. So that's what they mean by saying beautiful is better than ugly, because we want a code to look neat. And when we have a well documented, a properly written code, it is also really helpful in software development. Okay. So you may like to read more about the Zen of Python and what all guiding principles do we have. So you can simply type the statement, import this, and you'll have all the 19 guiding principles over there. Okay. So next, we start with Google Colaboratory. This is the tool that we are going to use for executing all our Python programs in this workshop. So Google Colab, it gives us an executable document where we can write, run, and share code within Google Drive. So it is a product from Google Research, and it is really well suited to machine learning, data analysis, and also for education purposes. One of the reasons why we have chosen this for our workshop, it is a hosted Jupyter notebook. Jupyter notebook is a part of the Jupyter project, and you'll shortly see how it looks like. And one more thing is that this Google Colab, it does not require any setup. So you don't need to have any software installation. You can directly access this product from your web browser. Also, it is free access. So you can access a lot of computing resources from Google, like GPU and TPU also are there available. And you can access those to perform complex computations directly from your browser. And you can also document your Jupyter notebooks. You can combine images, you can have HTML, LaTeX, a lot more things are there which you can include in your Google Colab notebooks. We are skipping some of those things right now because our main focus is on Python programming. But if you would like to know more about Google Colab, we have provided you with a video link. You can it is directly from Google. You can go, and if you want to learn more advanced applications, you can refer to that. So this is how your Colab looks like. This is the link is mentioned below, colab.research.google.com, and this is how your entire Jupyter notebook is being loaded in your Colab environment. So let me just quickly go through the basics of Colab. Okay, so I'm resharing my screen. Please let me know if it is visible to you.
Yes, yes. You.
Okay. So this is our Google Colab environment. And over here, you can see that we have a table of contents. So this is a notebook. Whenever you type into colab.research.google.com, you are going to land onto this page. And for using this service by Google, you only need to have a Gmail account. Using the Gmail account, you can log into Colab, and there you have all the resources available at your disposal. So let's try to create our own notebook. So let's have our new notebook. Okay. So right now we have our new Colab notebook. You can rename your notebook. So I'm renaming it into demo. And IPYNB, this is a file extension used for IPython notebooks. So it stands for IPython notebooks, interactive Python notebooks, which means that I'll just show you in a second. So right now we have 5 plus 5. And what I did is I pressed Shift plus Enter to execute this cell, code cell. So in your Jupyter notebook, you will find there are ample code cells available. So all the code cells, within all the code cells, you can have different code, and you can execute it one at a time. So over here, I just typed 5 plus 5, and right now I get the output 10. This is what it means by interactive Python, that you can execute your code whenever you want to. Over here, we have the computing resources. You can see it is the RAM and the disk, and it's visible, right? So you can see Python 3 Google Compute Engine backend. So we don't have any installation over here. We are directly accessing the computing resources, cloud-based computing resources available from Google, and we are using it for our own programs. So right now you can see for default availability is around 12 GB of RAM, and the disk is quite a good amount of space is given. So one more thing that you can do here, you can see that there is this icon, this directory icon. When you click on that, you can see files coming up. So in files, you have the option to upload a file. So suppose if you want to work with data, or even if you want to execute a Python script on your own. So in that case, you can just upload the file from your local system onto your Google Colab environment. Also note that these files will only be available till your session ends. So once you disconnect your Google Colab, all your files will be gone from this space. This is one of the reasons why we also have another thing which is called as Mount Drive. So when you click on Mount Drive, it asks for permission that do you want your Google Drive files to be available to your Colab notebook. So after you grant permission, your drive will be mounted. So this is very useful if you're working in machine learning, or if you're working in data science, or in any field that involves a lot of data. What you can do is that you can save your data set in your Google Drive, and whenever you want to work using that data, you can directly access it by mounting your drive to your Google Notebook. Then we have your all the data which is available in your Google Drive. Everything will be available over here. So all you need to do is specify the path. So suppose I have some data set. Sorry. So okay, I'll take this one. I have this data set. Some grayscale images are present, and in the unmarked images, yeah. So we have this folder, and in this folder we have lots and lots of images. All we have to do is we have to copy the path, and we have to use the appropriate code which is used to load this data in our Python notebook, which is available over here on Google Colab. So this is one of the major advantages of using Google Colab. You can save your computing resources on your local system, or if you do not have that GPU available on your local system, you can directly use these resources which are available for free online. Okay, so we have covered a lot of things, and now I'll come to runtime. So in runtime, you have this option to change runtime type. When you click on that, we have the hardware accelerator available. And over here, you can select. So if you want GPU, you can select GPU and you can just click on save. However, it is advised that unless and until you don't have very complex computations, avoid using GPU, because in the free version, you have certain limits. You cannot overuse it. So even sometimes we have monthly limits for people who are extensively working on GPU. So always every day they are working on GPU for developing applications. So for them, they also have the option to upgrade to a lot more resources. So now we also have Colab Pro, where you get 25 GB of RAM, but that is for people who have to work on research projects, or who have to work on like a lots of data. Okay, so we got to know how interactive Python works. And even on GPU, the environment will be the same. You won't even experience any difference until and unless you are working with deep learning. Then you will see that a significant faster environment is being offered using a GPU. Okay, so now I'll write some more code over here. So suppose we have name. So in Python, I said that we do not need to specify the type of your variables. So it is dynamically typed, which means that if I write name is equal to Debolina, my name, and if I want to see what is the type of this variable. So for checking the data type, we have the type keyword and type name, and just run it. So here we get string. So even if we are not mentioning explicitly the data type, we get to understand that Python is able to interpret which is what the kind of data we are passing through it. So here we have a string. So if you are not aware of data types, if you don't know about variable, please don't worry. I will go through each of those things in detail, step by step. This is just a demo demonstration to how we are going to use your Colab notebooks. And yeah, so I hope that people are now a little bit familiar with Colab, how they are going to use. Okay, so over here we have plus code, which means that it will insert a code cell. So here just when I press this code plus code, it is going to create a new code cell. We also have text based cell. So over here we actually write it in markdown. That is a simple syntax is there. So if I want to write this is a heading, and this is a subheading. So this is how it looks like. So when you want to document your code, sometimes we want to like we want to refer to some part of code, or we want to create a project altogether within your Colab notebook. So that is where it comes to use. You can easily document it. You can add images within these text cells, and you can it actually looks like a notebook. It's actually explains everything, which code cell is doing what. You can explain it. You can write all of that within your Colab notebook. Another thing that you can do is you can share your notebook, and this sharing is enabled using Google Drive. So you have to just copy the link and share it with people. So you can change it to anyone with the link, and that enables your sharing. You can even add contributors over here, so you can add people who can collaborate with your code. You can simultaneously edit it. So that is also one of the advantages of Colab. And how can you save it? So first, you can save it in your Google Drive. You can also save a copy in GitHub. So doing that, we have to connect our Colab with our GitHub account. So something which is happening right now. So when you authorize your collaboratory, you can directly add your Colab notebooks to your GitHub account. So that is also one of the features. Okay. I would request all of you, please go to the link given in the slide, that is colab.research.google.com, and try creating your notebook, because all our programming.
Be interactive. Okay,
Yeah.
be interactive during the session so that you can understand. Yes.
So go to the link and log in using your Google account, your Gmail account.
You can find the link in chat box.
And everyone, whoever is able to understand or has successfully created their demo Colab notebook, please let me know. You can just write your name or just write something and give a confirmation that you are able to create your notebook. Yes. Some of your programming assignments, like small snippets. Like I will give you some assignments to write some Python scripts. So everything will be available on these Google Colab notebooks itself. So please just take this part, just try to complete it right now itself. Just go to this link and create your Colab notebook. Okay. So this notebook, this document that you have lots of cells, and each of these cells you can even have in interactive manner. You can have lots of graphs. You can create data visualizations within Colab. It does not look this boring when you start programming in Python and you start building applications. You will see there are lots of things that you can do, and I'm really looking forward to you people experimenting with these features. So feel free to experiment, to learn, and in this class, we will we just want to motivate you all to explore your creativity. When we advise people to learn programming, it's one of the things that also helps you in creative thinking. Uh, it develops your problem solving skills as well. And with problem solving skills, you start seeing around yourself and your surroundings, and you start spotting those problems that can be solved using technology. So that's where this programming, it plays a very important role. Okay. Okay, so a lot of you have already done that. If anyone is encountering any issues related to your Colab notebook, please notify me right now. Any problem understanding how you are going to run your Colab notebook? So you can see that your Colab notebook is actually connecting you to a cloud-based runtime. So here you can execute your Python code, you can write your programs over here, and you also have that extremely interactive. Okay, yeah. So how that one came before number 5? Okay, so here one means your cell first line. So you have lines of code in your other programming languages. So here, if I next line 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is your line of code indicator. You can also turn it off. You have the option, I think. Or is it by default? I don't remember. I think, yeah. So here you have the option, show line numbers. You can just uncheck this and it'll just turn off. You have to save it as well. Yeah. And reload your notebook as well for the changes to take place. So over here we have the settings, tools, then go to settings, and you have these themes as well. So if you are someone who prefers the dark theme, the coding all in black, like those hackers, you can also have this dark theme as well. Yeah, so you have the editor over there. You can have your font size or indentation width, you can specify. Usually it is 2 or 4. And here you have different features are there. You have syntax checking or syntax and type checking. So what feature what kind of code diagnostics you want to use. This is the Colab Pro option is there. Your GitHub connection you can have over there. And mm, you can just ignore this part right now, some power saving or something. Okay, so yeah, so here we have our notebook. Okay, so I think people really like working in the dark mode because it gives us a feeling that we are doing, we are building some really important application, and it's also really good to look at. Okay, so yeah, I think that a lot of you have already done your Colab setup. Any more doubt? Any question? So I hope you understand now that how that one is appearing, and yeah, okay. I keep these because sometimes I want to refer to the lines of code, and it also helps you to debug. So if you make any error, your Python interpreter will tell you that on which line of code the error has occurred. So if you don't have these lines of code, you may need to manually count it. So to not go into such a hassle, I prefer to have all the lines of code readily available to me, and so that I can directly go. So if any error occurs on line number 2, I can directly go over there. I don't need to see where it is. Okay. For the Markdown format, you don't need to worry. This is always available. I also learned this thing over here. So from here, you can have so many features, like you want to change your text to bold, you can have it in italics, and you can also have some link over here. You can insert an image, or even emoticons, emojis are there. So a lot of things are there that you can use to customize your Python code. All right, so I'll move on to the next part. Okay. So next we are going to see the basics of Python. And if you are a beginner at programming, I will I will advise you that it can be challenging at times when we are new to programming. There is a chance that we make a lot of mistakes, and we learn with hit and trial. Like we try a lot of code, our code also encounters errors, and we try our best to fix those errors. If you are not able to, you can always ask for help. You can always search on Google for those errors. And we are also available over here for these 3 days. We are your doubt clear people who will clear your doubts. So you can always ask us. So this is an advice for all the beginners, that don't worry if you don't get it right the first time. And I'll go slow, and I will explain all those concepts that you need to master before writing a code snippet. So everything is going to be well organized, and we are going in a step-by-step manner. Also, syntax is a very important part of programming, and syntactic errors are also very common. So in other programming languages, you might have seen that when you miss a semicolon, and you don't even know that you have missed that, or if you miss a curly brace, your entire program will not execute. And when you are a beginner at programming, it's very difficult to find out where we went wrong, or where a syntactic error occurred, especially if you are using a compiled language. When I started programming with C, this was something that a challenge which I encountered on a daily basis. And slowly, after paying close attention to the syntax, I discovered that most of the errors that occur are usually first type of error that occurs is syntactic, and after that you can some logic related things are also there. So you have to give special attention to the syntax of your programming language. Well, in Python, we don't have semicolons, we don't have braces, so no need to worry about that. Okay, so it is customary, it is traditional that we start programming by writing the hello world program. So in Python, the hello world it is just a one-line statement. You simply type in your Google Colab notebooks that you just created right now, simply type in print hello world, and just see the output is just an echo. It will, whatever text is contained within those quotation marks, that text will get printed out. So printing this hello world, it has been very traditional. It is a way to start learning a programming language, and it has been going on since back in the 70s, when we used to have the C programming language. It was the most popular language back then, and this was the first program that everyone used to write. Even when I started to learn programming, I started with Java, and this was the hello world program is something that we begin our coding journey with. So people just type in your Colab notebooks, print hello world, and that's your first Python code. So if anyone does not get it, if anyone is not able to execute yet, let me know in your chat box.
Any doubt you can ask.
Okay. So this print that we have, this print is a keyword. When we are mentioning something, when we are using braces, so those open and closed braces, they form a part of your syntax of your programming language. And within those quotation marks, we have something which is actually called as a string. So right now you are seeing a text, but this text, this sentences, these words in Python, it is classified into a type called as string. Those familiar with basics of programming, you may know what it already is. So we will go into variables and data types in the coming session. So right now, just hello world. Okay. So let's go to next. So what is your print function? So whatever text is present within your codes, that text will be displayed onto the terminal. And the string or text to be printed, you can have it within double quotes. You can also print it within single quotes. So you can try, you can have your hello world within single quotes and print the same in double quotes, you'll get the same output. The difference comes when you are using it together. So suppose in the first example, hey, you weren't present. So over here we are using a double quote, but we also want to print that single quote when we are writing burnt. So you notice that we have a single quote present over there and we want to print that out. So in that case, we don't want any ambiguity. We don't want the interpreter to give us any error. So we are following the syntactic rules. We are just using double quotations over here. So now we have the output, hey, you weren't present. And the next example, it's written as say good morning to me. And we want to emphasize on good morning. We want to print those double quotes. So if we want to print that, we have to have our main text in single quotes. So the output comes as say good morning to me, and your double quotes are also getting printed out. So based on what you want to print out, how you want it to get printed, how you want your output to get displayed, and how you want to format your text, your strings. Based on all of that, you have to choose the applicability, whether you want double quotes or single quotes. So these are some of the key things about your print function that you should remember, especially because we want to get clearly formatted outputs in Python. We are writing scripts and we want our scripts to display all the outputs properly. So for that, you may note that this is one of the things that you should remember while formatting your output. Okay. Another thing which is extremely important in Python is your indentation. So indentation is when you see that there is some space available at the start of a line of code. That space is added. It is intentionally added to have a properly indented block of code. So by block of code, we mean that here we have one short example. So if 5 greater than 2 and we have colon, so this is also part of your syntactic rules that we have to write like this. This is how our computer is going to understand our code and what we want to convey, what instructions that we want to give it. So don't worry if you don't understand something right now, just focus on the concept that is being taught. And we will go through all the if blocks and all the different constructs in the next session. So over here, you can see that if 5 greater than 2, and then we have a space in front of your print statement, print 5 is greater than 2. So this space that we have in front of our print, this is what is called as your indentation. So here we have defined an if block. So this is a block of code. This is a set of statements. Similarly, we will go through many different blocks of code we will see in further sessions. And you may have noticed in other programming languages, if you have worked with C or C++, we have curly braces. So instead of curly braces in Python, we are using these spaces. So you can use tabs, or tab spaces are there, or it automatically comes. But if you want to have, if it is not available, if that feature is not available, then you can use your spaces or tabs to arrange your code and to give it a proper indentation. Okay, so it also makes Python code readable, so improves code readability. And always remember, the indentation is a very important aspect of Python. There is also something which commonly occurs in when you are new to Python programming. It's called an indentation error, and it is very annoying when we try to resolve it. It seems like we have to rewrite our entire code, like we have to shift all the statements to fix that indentation error. So it is something that as a beginner, I did not know that it is so important, because I have worked with primitive programming languages, and when I was new to Python, we have that residual thing going on, that we have that curly braces, and the other, that pattern of writing. So that is something that you need to focus on, that indentation is extremely important when writing your Python programs. Okay. So now we move on to comments. Like, comments help us to document the code, and it is also very important, because if you are writing a Python script and you want to come back to it later on, you should know why you wrote a particular line of code. You should know what is the functionality of the code. In case you are writing a function, defining a method, a function, then you should know what it is working for. So it's not possible to remember all of the things that you may have done earlier. For that, the documentation of code comes into place. This ability to comment in Python helps us to have this in-code documentation. So in C or C++, you may have used double slash or slash asterisk asterisk slash for multi-line comments. Here in Python, these comments start with hash, and after whatever you have written after the hash, it becomes a comment. So over here we have a simple one-line code. It is a mathematical expression, 5 modulus 2. So it is used to compute the remainder. Suppose you just want to skim through the through your own code, or you want someone else to understand your code, someone who does not have any idea about the syntax of Python. You can simply comment like hash remainder. So this particular line of code, it is used to compute the remainder after 5 is divided by 2. So that is the purpose of adding comments to your program. And I will really advise all of you that when we give you assignments in Python, please always comment your code. Always have this habit. It's not necessary that you have to comment every line of code, but whatever major part of your code, like at least three lines you take. So for 3 lines, you'll give one comment to describe what is happening below, and then proceed. So it also gives a good readability to your code, and someone, if we are to evaluate our code, we will also understand what logic you have implemented. Okay. So now I will, I suggest all of you that write a greeting message for yourself. So you have type your name. Name is a variable over here. A variable is actually a container. So name over here contains your whatever you have defined within your quotations, the string. So here, my name, the variable name, contains my name, Debulina. And when I print it, you can print hi plus name. So when you write plus name, we mean to say that we want it to display together. So here we have hi Debulina. So this is how we print a greeting message in Python. So all of you just quickly go back to your Google Colab notebook and try this out. And if anyone has any error or any problem, just let me know in your comment box. I'm waiting over here for 2 minutes and before moving to the next slide. So just execute this part. Yes, yes, you can use single quotes within your double quotes, but it should have some purpose. Like if you want to highlight a part of your string, so in that case, you can use your single quotes within your double quotes. So it works either ways. What purpose you are using for, that is something that matters over here. So how you want to format your outputs. Okay, I got just 1% till now said done. Other people? Yeah, okay. So you also notice that when you use comments to explain your Python code, it makes your code a lot more readable. Even you feel like, yeah, this is really properly documented. Even if you want to go back to some code that you wrote years ago, but it is properly commented, you can easily refer to it and you can even use it in your current applications. So that's one of the reasons why I will always say that properly document your code. We will also see this, how we are going to comment everything. Okay. Others? Anyone having any issue? If you're trying and you're getting any error, feel free to tell me over here. Okay. Okay. So something that you must remember is that everyone learns at their own pace. So even if you have any error, even if you have any error, or even if you get stuck, it does not matter. It should not it you may worry, but it's something that should encourage you to continue learning, to resolve those errors, and to uh, to learn a lot, all the other new concepts. So okay, collab link. Okay. Yes, Swapna, I have shared the collab link again. Okay. So always feel free to ask questions. We want this class to be as interactive as possible. We want the students to interact with us. If you are facing any issues in coding, or if you want any advice from us in your learning journey, then you can always reach out to us. So we are like very open to all, and we suggest that everyone should be able to communicate with us. So don't feel afraid that how should I communicate with the instructor. So that should not stop you, because if you don't speak up, that will hinder your learning progress. So you should always feel free to interact in the class. You can also interact with other fellow learners, other people in this workshop. If you have if you feel intimidating to communicate with me or with then you can reach out to your uh, other fellow joiners in this workshop to resolve any issue. Okay. Okay, so I'll just wrap up this session and with one quote. So I encourage you all, just stay as motivated as you can, and trust us for these 3 days. Just follow all the instructions that you get and complete all your assignments, and just study, like give your time, give some time to learning Python. Take this journey seriously, because it is becoming an essential requirement in your IT industry. So knowing Python gives you an advantage, gives you an edge even over other candidates, and also adds to your own profile that you know some programming language. Also, one more thing, that this does not complete within after your 3 days. So it is a lifelong learning journey. We are only going to tell you the basics of Python. We are going to encourage you that these are the applications that you can build in Python. But you can do so many things. If you are interested in web development, you can explore that area. If you are interested in cybersecurity, you can explore those Python libraries and write Python scripts to automate those processes. So you have to choose the application that you want to automate. So this journey does not stop after these 3 day session. It continues as long as you want to. And I'll just quote this Chinese proverb: a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So this is your first step. You all wrote some programs, right? You all wrote some small scripts in Python. So that was your first step towards this learning journey, and it is a long way ahead. It has immense possibilities, especially in this day and age when we have so many computing resources. We can expect a lot of different kinds of applications to come up in near future. So if you are committing yourself to learning a new programming language, it is going to benefit you a lot in the long run. And I'll also share some details on how you're going to have a local installation. So many people, after this workshop, you may feel like you need to have a local installation of Python on your system. So for that, you can go to this link, www.python.org/downloads. Over there, you have lots of versions of Python available. I will advise you that download only the latest version of Python, unless and until you have some script which is written like in older Python versions. So for that, you may need a older version of Python on your system. But if you are learning right now, if you are working on building your own scripts, for that, select the latest installation package. Then you have this executable file. You have to complete your setup. And once the entire setup is being done, then on your command line on your system, just simply type Python -- version. So it will tell you that which version of Python is working on your system. So then you can verify that the installation has been done properly. Also, another thing is there, it is called as Anaconda distribution. So you can think that it is an entire like a package kind of thing, where you have your Python installation is also present within Anaconda. You have your Jupyter notebooks in Anaconda distribution, and your Spyder IDE as well. IDE is an integrated development environment. So if you have previous coding experience, you may have used these IDEs. It provides you with a place to write your script, to execute it, and it is an interactive environment. So that is it also gives you the compiler is readily available, the interpreter is available, and you can execute in the shell, as well as you can write your Python scripts. So there comes your Spyder IDE. We have lots of different distributions for Python as well, but for the beginner level, I will suggest that have your Anaconda distribution in case you want your local installation. It is not necessary, it is not compulsory for this workshop. all the coding exercises that we are going to do, we will use Google Colab. But if anyone is interested, you can simply go to the links that we have provided and explore accordingly. And if anyone wants me to demonstrate the installation process, then you can tell me during our session 3 of the day. We have the doubt clearing session. If time permits, I will tell you how to perform your local installation. So Anaconda distribution it is a package manager. It also gives you a virtual environment manager, and so many pre-installed software packages are available in your Anaconda. And the Jupyter notebooks that we have mentioned over here, it is similar to what you just saw in Google Colab. You have cells of code and you have text cells as well, where you can document, you can write what your code is about. So your Jupyter notebooks gives you that same kind of environment, but it all will happen within your local system. It, instead of using the internet, you will work on the local host. So that's how your Jupyter notebooks will work. And just a quick introduction to your Jupyter notebook. It is open source. It is maintained by Project Jupyter. So under that, all the resources are available and being developed for Jupyter notebooks. And you can create and share these documents, that IPYNB file that we have, interactive Python notebooks, those files that you create on Colab, those files can also be saved and executed on your local system in a Jupyter notebook. You can have live code, you can have equations, visualizations, a lot of things are there. Okay, so with this, I will wrap up this session. We'll give you a break as well. Sir, so is it okay if we declare the breaks right now? I think so you're muted.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
So
I think we'll stop here, or what?
yes, sir.
So next session will start at 11:40.
Yes, sir. So by
Okay.
11:45, shall we
45,
start?
45,
Yes.
11:45. Okay, 11:50 will start. Let them join at 11:40, and we'll start at 11:40.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So next
yeah.
session will start at 11:45. Okay. So I think we'll stop here and just give. I'm going to send you the feedback form will be given after the session 2 only. And you just fill this form, okay, for the attendance. Okay, everyone, thank you. So we'll meet at 11:45.
Thank you, sir.